G'day, Black Krishna from ManForWars.com here on Tuesday, May 14th, 2019. And I'm going to show you the biggest problem Canadians have. It's been getting worse for a few years, but as it gets worse and keeps getting normal, then this is sort of what you're left with, right? But basically, Canadians are being brainwashed to act like lying, bitchy, sketchy, ugly old women who don't trust you, don't respect you, don't want you to help them. They just want to force you to put up with them and see them look ugly. And then you can't do anything with them. You can't be nice. You can't look at them, talk to them much. You have to force them to see you look ugly back. And then when you don't respect each other, you don't like each other, you can't trust each other, then run around forcing strangers to see you look ugly. Right? So that's the biggest problem Canadians have, is they're not polite Canadians, teaching kids to be polite Canadians, and looking, talking, and feeling great about fun or serious stuff. That's the biggest problem. If you try and do anything except for get worked up and force people to see you look ugly, then you're just more a victim of people who get worked up and force you to see them look ugly. That's why people, especially young people, you'll get kids 11, 12, 13, 14, or smaller people or girls, are constantly running around force people to see them look ugly. Because if you stop, if you try and relax, if you try and be a nice, happy person, confident, good looking, look, talk, feel great, you'll be attacked by some big ugly zombie forcing you to see it look ugly until you force it to see them to see you look ugly back, and then you run away from each other and force strangers to see you look ugly. So, and then that becomes a lifestyle. It becomes what all people do all day and night, right? So that's the problem, and that's why you'll get some people, 11, 12, 13, 14-year-old kids at the mall here and there, especially in public, bigger groups, more pressure to zombies. Smaller groups, you can agree, hey, you know what, it's just 2, 3, 4, 5 of us. Does anybody have to get worked up and force people to see them look ugly, or can we just take a break? I'll take a break. So you can take a break with smaller groups, but in bigger groups, you just see people just running around like crazy all the time. Because if you slow down to a normal walk, you act like a normal human who's not worked up and trying to force people to see you look ugly, then a zombie will attack. You'll be like, this is great. I'm looking for nice people to force to see me look ugly all day. And I keep running out because I made more zombies. More people made more zombies, so there's no more left. But if I find somebody, oh baby, do I want to force them to see me look ugly? And they like forcing people to see them look ugly. That's how they get off. It's not like, oh, you're not interested? Okay, no problem. It's all good. We're cool. It's like, no. If you don't want to be forced to see me look ugly, I'm so excited to try and force you to see me look ugly. And then it's like, well, geez, I don't want to look at this. I don't want to be forced to see you look ugly. But if that's all you can do and you just really want to force me to, fine, I'll force you to see me look ugly back. Then you turn into a zombie too. And that's how polite Canadians are turned into zombies, making more zombies who make more zombies. There's nothing else you can do. Like, hey, rude, bitchy, sketchy, ugly mess, wiping, scratching, spazzing out, forcing you to look at me. Yeah, making us quiet and uncomfortable. You're like, shit, well, what am I supposed to do with this? All right, I am one too. You want to do that to me? I'll do that to you. And then they run away from each other and try and look for strangers to force to see them look ugly. Right? And they make it super hard to do anything else. If you try and do anything else, you try and look, talk, or feel good, or be smart or interesting or funny or act like a human, then it's more excited to force you to see it look ugly until you have to force to see you look ugly back. And again, I'm not making fun of like poor mentally ill people or something like that, or homeless people, because this is not a normal crazy person. A normal crazy person is just a little sketchy near you. They can't stop shaking or wiping or scratching near you or whatever, or maybe they just come too close to people, they can't control themselves. This forces you to see it look ugly until you have to force it to see you look ugly back. That's the difference. Normal crazy, I've been around Toronto, you see one in a few months, one a year, worked up, bothering people, can't explain why. Now it's one a second. You might see one person a second, worked up, bothering people, can't explain why, embarrassed, lies, argues. All it cares about is force people to see it look ugly. It doesn't care about anything else. Nobody it can't. What else can it do? It can't respect people, so you can't look at it, talk to it much. So that's all it cares about. But the problem is it's making more. Now, before, when there was just a poor, sketchy, crazy person, mentally ill, schizophrenic, drugs or whatever, and they're just kind of weird near people, it's okay, you politely ignore it, mind your business, have a little self-respect. They didn't bother you much, you didn't bother them, so never show or get respect, closest they get. And so they're happy. But this particular version that we have right now, a sort of pretend lying, bitchy, sketchy, ugly old lady, or pretend wife or girlfriend, busts your balls, doesn't respect you. Not like you can be like, hey, what's wrong? I can help. No, you cannot help. I'm your pretend lying, bitchy, sketchy, ugly old lady. I will be an ugly mess near you. Worked up, making us uncomfortable. Nothing you can do, you impotent piece of shit. It's like, you're not my ugly old lady, torturing her husband to death for 40 years. You're just a pretend ugly old lady who likes being ignored, acting stupid, even more than you like force people to see you look ugly. That's what a lot of people don't know, and that's what I've got documented for the last couple of years at manforwars.com. Is I've got, a couple of million people on video, a couple hours at a time here and there, and they just run near you, try and force you to see them look ugly. They're happy you didn't look and see them, and they're happy you didn't bother them, and they run away. That's what happens. Lying bitches begging to be broken, basically. Just like a pretend, or just like a real, bitchy, sketchy, ugly old lady. Just like a real bitchy, sketchy, ugly old lady, or a real wife or girlfriend who's acting stupid for no reason. You didn't do anything to make them get worked up and force you to see them look ugly and put up with them. You didn't do anything wrong. So it likes being ignored even more than it likes forcing people to see them look ugly and make people force it to see them look ugly. People don't know that. People are like, well, okay, yeah, sure. Hey, how's it going, Dave? Oh, good, Bob. Yeah, force you to put up with me and play with my hair and wiping, scratching, spazzing out. Oh, no, force you to put up with me back. Yeah, sure. They don't know. They just think, well, that's what you're supposed to do. It gets worked up and forced you to see it look ugly. So you get worked up and forced to see you look ugly. And then you run away from each other because it's hard to be near each other. You don't like or respect each other. You're not nice. And then you run away from each other. It's too uncomfortable. And you force other people to see you look ugly. A lot of people don't understand it likes being ignored even more than it likes forcing people to see it look ugly. And I'm not just picking on a random person. I'm talking about millions of people, a few dozen or 100 or 1,000 at a time, who just run by, try and force you to see them look ugly, are happy you didn't see them look ugly or bother them, and run away. And that's the difference. That's what polite Canadians should do with their family and friends, is when they're worked up and force you to see them look ugly, just look away, ignore them, and when they stop and you respect each other, then you can look, talk, and feel great, and if they have any issues, then you can help them with them. If not, then those issues are stuck torturing them to death because they don't respect people and people don't respect them, and they just want to force people to see them look ugly and put up with them, and then that's it. So it doesn't matter. Who cares if this person's whole family dies in a car accident? Are you going to talk to them? Well, they're just going to try and force you to see them look ugly, so hell no. So whatever problem they have is just stuck torturing them to death. You see? You see how it just likes running by? And if you don't want to see it look ugly, it gets it gets off. It gets so excited to force you to see it look ugly. That's why people don't like each other and don't respect each other and then wander around bother strangers. Because it's not like, oh, okay, you don't want to be forced to see me look ugly? No problem. It's like, oh, I'm so excited to force you to see me look ugly until all you can do with me is force you to see you look ugly. And then we run away from each other and force other people to see us look ugly. It just gets so excited, right? This is a representation of what people do to each other. Now, I'm sure a lot of Canadians would love it if their kids and family and friends and co-workers and then even strangers don't get worked up and force you to see them look ugly and then make you get worked up and force them to see you look ugly, right? But because of the current fashion, that's what people do, right? And people don't know. People love being ignored doing this. That's why I got the last couple of years on video, happy to help. Otherwise people don't like it, don't want to talk about it, do anything about it, whatever, so fine. I don't want to bother anybody. I don't want to be an ass. I have no self-respect. So I don't do anything. It's fine. I've got manforwars.com, last couple of years on video, go here, there. People don't mind. Lying bitches begging to be broken, like acting stupid and being ignored. And other people are nice. Even if you're a little weird. You're like, oh, you're a little weird, but you're nice. It's safe to be nice to you. It's safe to be nice to you. A lot of times, not safe. Not safe to be nice to people. Canadians, formerly polite Canadians, not safe to be nice to them. If you're nice, they'll just get worked up and force you to see them look ugly. So it's not safe. It's just easier to get worked up and force them to see you look ugly too than it is to be nice to people. But I have my manforwars.com sign, newspaper in one hand, sometimes turned inside out when I go inside places, not advertising there or whatever. And I just ignore this person, worked up, bothering people, force people to see them look ugly, ignore that person, ignore that person, ignore that person, and then that person over there, or the cashier at a store, for example, or coffee shop, or this other person who's nice and just wants to be nice to people. Like, wait a minute. So you don't want to get worked up and force people to see you look ugly? No. and you're not paying attention to people who do that? No. So it's actually safe to be nice to you? Yeah, oh, freaking hey, how's it going, brother? Hey, it's great to see you. We can look at each other without messing with each other. We can talk to each other because we respect each other. Or we can just mind our business and be nice to each other. That's great. Or guys, girls, kids, super friendly. But once they know, you're like worked up, forced you to put up with me. Oh, me too, forced you to put me back. Then make each other quiet and uncomfortable, run away from each other, and run around forcing strangers to see you look ugly. You see how much they get off on trying to force people to see them look ugly? You see? That's why they don't get along with people and they wander around and bother strangers. You see how excited they get? Wow, that guy really doesn't want to be forced to see people look ugly. I'm so excited to force him to see me look ugly. Oh, I get off on this so much. In fact, I get off even more on being ignored. Oh, that's even better. Lying bitch begging to be broken. Oh, that was good stuff, right? So, people don't understand that, right? People don't understand that. People are like, all right, fine, you're worked up for it. You're one of those people that loves worked up, force people to see them look ugly. Oh, yeah, okay, I'll do it back to you, no problem. Yeah, no, we can't pay attention to each other. Oh, now you're just going to wander around and bother strangers. Okay, cool. But this is not about me, because whatever, I'm just an average guy. Keep your self-respect, don't lose yours, take anyone else's. Like every man you've ever respected. Not that you have to be great at it, but every man you've ever respected. Everybody, really, but every man especially. You've always tried to make sure you're cool, other people are cool, and where you live is cool. That's how you get respect. Getting worked up and force people to see you look ugly until they have to get worked up and force you to see them look ugly is the exact opposite of that. That's why people don't respect each other, but that's all they care about. You see? You see how excited it is to try and force people to see it look ugly who don't like it, you don't like them? That's all it wants. It just wants to force you to see it look ugly until you don't like it. That's why it wanders around bothering strangers. You're like, man, what is going on here? Why are there so many rude, sketchy, crazy homeless people wandering around getting worked up and bothering strangers? It's like they're not really. I mean, it's the same idea, I guess, but they're not really. They love forcing people to see them look ugly until you don't like them. And then when people don't like each other and they can't look at and talk to each other, they wander around and force strangers to see them look ugly. Right? That's the problem. You see? Now, I'm sure because the last couple of years on video and people are really cool when they're not, like they don't have to be not cool, you know, and people are really nice, like, you're a nice guy, weird, but hey, if you're nice, I can be nice, fuck it. And so Canadians are super nice when you're nice. Don't waste time, just force people to see you look ugly back and run away. And then when you can't do anything else, just run around, force people to see you look ugly and running away. Right? But this represents what people do to each other. Kids, family, friends, co-workers, strangers, is they're so excited to force people to see them look ugly until you don't like them, and then that's all people can do. See? See how excited it gets? It's also a lying bitch begging to be broken, so it likes being ignored too. Like, that's the thing. It's like a bitchy, sketchy, ugly old lady that's sick of forcing everyone to see it look ugly and making everyone quiet and uncomfortable and gets off on being ignored. It's not mine though. I don't want anyone to think, hey, why is your ugly old lady all worked up and bothering you, or your ugly wife or girlfriend? They're worked up, they're bothering you, they're making everyone around quiet and uncomfortable. I'm like, it's not mine. It just does that near people. It just does that near people until people do it back, and then they don't like each other, and then they run away from each other, and then they force other people to put up with it. That's all it does. It's not mine though. It just goes near people, gets worked up and bothers people and forces people to see it look ugly, and then when people don't like each other, they just run around, bother strangers, and force strangers to see them look ugly. So, this represents what people do to each other. It's not me. There's a lot of practice involved. It's not like you, asshole. First time I've ever seen you. Never seen you before. Don't know what the hell you're talking about. Now, worked up, run at you like a fucking bitchy, sketchy zombie. Rah! No. This is practiced. People do this. Not like perfectly normal, nice, polite Canadians see a guy they don't like saying stupid stuff they don't like, and they go, bitchy, sketchy zombie attack. And no, that's practiced. This is what people do with each other. You see? This is what people do with kids, family, friends, husbands, wives, boyfriends, girlfriends, friends, relatives, co-workers. They're like, hey, I'm busy. Oh, I know you are. I'm going to love getting worked up and bothering you and forcing you to see me look ugly until you don't like me. And then what? Let's go bother other people. You don't like me, I don't like you. So just wander around, force strangers see you look ugly. You see? That's how excited people get to force people to see them look ugly. This is the biggest problem Canadians have. People are like, oh, men suck. Why? I get worked up, force you to see them look ugly. Women suck. Why? Worked up, force you to see them look ugly. Now, you can play through the pain and still communicate with each other, but you don't respect each other, so it's all garbage. People will be hanging out with each other, and they won't pay attention to each other because they don't respect each other. They'll just look for other people nearby to force to see them look ugly. Right? People will go to a coffee shop, bar, restaurant, go here, go there, and they'll be like, hey, how's it going? Force you to put up with me. Oh, good, force you to put up with me. Now what? Well, we don't respect each other. So we're not really paying attention to each other, not really listening to each other, can't really look at, talk to each other much. So what are you doing? I'm looking behind you to see if there's anybody around there I can force to see me look ugly. How about you? I'm looking behind you to see if there's anybody around who I can force to see me look ugly. Right? It's like, well, you guys are friends. You've been friends for like 20 years. You haven't seen each other in a while. Yeah, but I don't respect them. They don't respect me. So we can't really pay attention to each other. In fact, when we hang out, we don't pay attention to each other. We just run around forcing strangers to see us look ugly. People will do it. People will bring their whole families to the mall. Ready? We're going to run around, force strangers to see us look ugly, and run away. Get worked up, bother them, run away. That's how they spend their time. Right? And you got, people on foot, people on bikes, even car zombies. I saw a car zombie, sort of Dundas and Parliament area, and it was somebody going against a red light, and they were like, tried to force someone to see me look ugly, run away, and they hit the gas, and a southbound car plowed into them. A southbound car had the green light. This guy was like, first car at a red light, like, worked up, forced you to see me look ugly, run away, and bang! He got smashed inside of his car, got smashed into by a southbound car. Right? There's like walking zombies do that, bike zombies do that, car zombies do that. If you wonder, like, why are so many people getting hit by pedestrians? That's because people want to force you to see them look ugly and run away. They just happen to be in a car. So, like, wow, look at that nice person there. They're smiling. They're happy. They're reading a text message they like. Fuck that asshole! Force you to see me look ugly, bitch! Run away! But they're in a car. So they bang! They plow into people. Right? So you've got walking zombies, bike zombies, and car zombies that are very, very dangerous. And this is what people do to each other. That's why they wander around forcing strangers to see them look ugly. Is because they don't respect people and people don't respect them. So people who used to be able to hang out, look at, talk to each other in Toronto, busy city, big city, don't always see family and friends that often, instead go, what else can we do? You don't respect me, I don't respect you. Let's go bother people, make sure they don't respect us too. That's what they do. You see how much it loves trying to force people to see it look ugly? That's why it can't get along with family, friends, co-workers, and strangers, and wanders around bothering people like a crazy homeless person. Because it loves to try and force people to see it look ugly. Loves it. Loves it. It just gets so excited. Yes! This is my great opportunity! But, like a bitchy, ugly old lady, sick of torturing her impotent husband to death, it also likes being ignored even more. That's what people don't understand when they go along with this. It likes being ignored even more. I got tons of video, last couple of years on video, a couple million Canadians. I don't want to say or do anything if people don't like it. Oh, I don't like it. I don't like what's happening to me, what's happening to people. I don't like it. I don't want to talk about it, do anything about it. It's like, okay, well then drop dead, I guess. Drop Walking Dead, whatever. So the point is that this is what happens, right? So it's not about me. It's like, what are you doing? Is it, you idiot, young in college, 4:30 in the afternoon, Tuesday, May 14th, 2019. Look, I don't want to bother anybody, be bothered by anybody. Just keep your self-respect. Don't lose yours, take anybody else's. But I'm trying to make the point. Now, this is not about me. This is about what people do to each other, because there's a lot of practice that goes involved. And a lot of people really, really, really want to force people to see them look ugly. But a lot of people really, really, really don't want to be forced to see people look ugly. There's a big disconnect there. I'd say 90+% of people want to force people to see them look ugly, and 0% of people want to be forced to see people look ugly. You see how hard it gets trying? it gets worked up. You see how badly it was to force people to see it look ugly? Because it knows people don't want to see it look ugly. And then other people do that to it, and then it goes back and forth, and that's all people do. Right? Now, I would say that there's a lot of men and women and kids out there that are like, boy, it'd be great if people weren't worked up, forced me to see them look ugly. If my family, my kids, family, friends, co-workers, and even strangers weren't getting worked up and forced me to see them look ugly until I had to get worked up and force them to see me look ugly back. Life would be a lot better if, people could respect each other and not just get worked up and force people to see them look ugly. But you can see the problem. If you don't want to be forced to see people look ugly, people love trying to force you to see them look ugly. Love it. They get off. They love bothering people who don't like it till you don't like them. They love it. And that's why they end up wandering around forcing strangers to see them look ugly. You see? Because it loves force people to see it look ugly and put up with it until you don't like it. And then when you don't like it, what else can it do? It just wanders around bothering people, force people to see it look ugly. Right? It's like, I will make you put up with me acting like a sketchy, bitchy, ugly old lady until you hate me. What do you want to do after that? Nothing. I want to go bother strangers. It's easier to force people to see you look ugly for a second and run away than it is to hang out with them after that. Are you crazy? Why the hell would this creature spend 5 minutes hanging out with and talking to somebody when they don't respect each other? Why not instead run around, barely try and force people to see you look ugly for a second and run away? That's what it has to do. You see? That's you. That's not me. That's happening to you. You're doing it to people, they're doing it to you. People are just like, hey, how's it going? Oh, not interested. You used to be able to look away. You used to be able to look away from people and they would get embarrassed and stop, like a bitchy, sketchy, ugly girl acting stupid for no reason, right? You could look away and they'd stop, right? Or they'd run away embarrassed. But when it becomes the only thing people can do, then it becomes a lot harder, right? Like if you ask somebody, hey, why are you worked up bothering me? Why are you worked up bothering people? They get upset, they get offended. Why am I bothering you? How dare you ask me that question? I'm your pretend bitchy, sketchy old lady. How dare you? No, I'm gonna lie and argue and get embarrassed. How dare you ask me why I'm bothering you, you idiot? Like, no, I'm a Canadian adult. You're a Canadian adult. Why are you worked up and bothering me, or for that matter, other people? How dare you? This is what I do. You see, when it becomes the only thing people can do, then that's it. You can't do anything else. You can't be like, hey, you should stop getting worked up and force people to see you look ugly if they don't like you. It's like, but that's all I can do, because they don't like me. Can't look at or talk to each other much. You don't trust or respect each other. You can't take each other seriously. Even when we're near each other, we're not really paying attention to each other, because we're forcing each other to see each other look ugly, and when we get done, we're trying to force other strangers to see us look ugly. So, what else can you do? You see? Bike zombies. Again, a car zombie, same thing. Has plowed into another car. I got plowed into, south of Dundas and Parliament the other day. It was just, I forced people to see me look ugly and run away, except I'm in a car. So, when I ran away, I just plowed into another car. So, that's what happened. And people don't know. They like being ignored even more than they like forced people to see them look ugly. Here at 5 p.m. Tuesday, May 14th, BK Black Krishna from manforwars.com. Standing on the northeast corner, looking towards the southwest corner of Yonge and College in downtown Toronto, Canada. This is the biggest problem Canadians have. Not being able to talk about how they get worked up and force people to see them look ugly until they can't talk. About anything. Anything. Could be simple stuff. Hey, wow, it's a nice day. I'm in a good mood. Hey, I wouldn't mind saying to somebody, hey, how's it going? Hey, nice day, isn't it? And they're like, yeah, force you to see me look ugly. This is awesome. Get worked up, put up with me. Yeah. I love forcing people to see me look ugly. I love forcing nice people to see me look ugly until they have to force me to see them look ugly and they can't be nice to people anymore. Yeah. That's the best. Like, huh? Okay, so that's what happens. You try and be nice, simple stuff, right? It's like, yeah, nice day, yeah, now how can I trick or force you to see me look ugly if you don't like me? Yeah, or if you want to do anything, you have to do it back to me. What else can you do with me? And then we don't like each other, we run away and bother strangers, right? So, simple stuff, off the table. Don't respect each other, so you can't even take it seriously. Hey, how's it going? You don't care, you're trying to force me to see you look ugly. So I can't take you seriously. Right? Or even more difficult stuff. You know, I'm not so sure the Ontario government should be allowed to take small children away from parents because they might think they're a different gender. No, we're not forced you to see me look ugly. Forced you to see me look ugly. Well, okay, never mind. I guess that's cool. We can't even talk about it, like pros and cons. I'm not trying to be hateful. I'm just trying to. I like people. I like kids. It's not a conversation about this. The best thing. No, force you to see me look ugly. All right, fine. Like the government, Ontario government, Bill C-89. Take your little boy or girl if they decide they want to switch genders at the age of 3, 4, or 5. This boy says he wants to be a girl. Yesterday he said he wanted to be a dinosaur. Tomorrow he says he wants to be an astronaut. Okay, just no. Put him in the change genders machine, right? It's like I think that we should talk about that. No. If you could do anything but get worked up and force people to see you look ugly until they don't like you, then we'll take care of that and make sure that's all you can do. And that's the biggest problem Canadians have. You see how excited it is to force people to see it look ugly who don't like it, you don't like them? That's the biggest problem Canadians have. Formerly nice, polite Canadians now act like lying, bitchy, sketchy, ugly old lady zombies. This is the biggest problem Canadians have. I got the last couple of years on video, a couple million people, inside, outside, because people are super nice. Once they realize you're super nice, they're super nice. Although you may be a little weird, you may do your own thing, but if you could be nice and I could be nice, fuck it, it's safe. Let's do this. And a lot of people, nice people are nice. So it's security guards and cops supposed to make sure people don't bother each other. They get bitchy, sketchy, ball-busting old lady. Put up with me, act like me, and then they turn into them. And so there's nobody to make sure nobody bothers each other. There's just people who make sure people bother each other. You see? That's the biggest problem Canadians have. That's what we've got to stop. You can't just make people feel impotent by acting like a pretend lying, bitchy, sketchy, ball-busting, ugly old lady. Or pretend ugly old lady your wife or girlfriend. You know, nobody can do or say anything to make you stop. All you want to do is make them put up with you or act like you. So there's no respect there, right? If a bitchy, sketchy, ugly old woman is torturing her impotent husband to death for 20, 30 years, that's one thing. But if people just randomly do it with each other, that's horrible. You see? This is the biggest problem Canadians have. They like to get worked up, force you to put up with them, see them look ugly, make you both uncomfortable until you don't like them, and then they run away and they just force other people to do it, to put up with it. Otherwise, Canadians can talk about what a great country this is, what made it great, how to make it even better, how adults had it good, and if we can respect each other and communicate well, our kids can have it even better. Got lots of resources and opportunity and intelligence. But if people keep acting too stupid to talk, or too rude to talk, then it's all off the table. You see? See how much it loves forcing people to see it look ugly till you don't like it? That's why that's all it can do. What else can you do with it? That's what happens to people. They just love forcing people to see them look ugly until you don't like them. And then that's all they can do. Can't be to look at people, talk to people, get along with people. Right? See how much it likes it? See how excited it gets? Like, oh boy, you don't want to be forced to see people look ugly. Again, this is not my bitchy, sketchy, ugly old lady. This is not my bitchy, sketchy, ugly old lady. This is not my bitchy, sketchy, ugly old lady or wife or girlfriend worked up, bothering me in public, making everyone